Hi, I'm Tati, and these are the books I read in July, August, and September. Although it's more like the books I read in July and September because I didn't actually finish any books in August. But I do still have quite a few books to get through, so let's get right into it. The first book I read was Fracture Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is a novella in the Shatter Me series that I never got around to reading the first time I read the series, and unfortunately I didn't really like it. I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. Next I read The Lifeboat Clique by Kathy Parks. This is a disaster survival story about what happens to a group of teenagers, including our main character, who are at a party when a tsunami hits the coast of California. I actually listened to this as an audiobook and I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up is Otherworld by Kristen Miller and Jason Segel, which is another one I listened to as an audiobook. This is about a video game that's not really a video game, and that's all I'm going to say about it, except for the fact that it really surpassed my expectations. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is about Eliza, who is the anonymous creator of a wildly popular webcomic, Monstrous Sea. Things get complicated when she meets Wallace, who is Monstrous Sea's biggest fan fiction writer. Overall, I really ended up enjoying this book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. This is a dual perspective story about Dimple, who's excited to go to a summer program for aspiring web developers, and Rishi, who's going to the same program but is also hoping to meet his future wife. I sort of half listened to this as an audiobook and half read the physical book. I did end up liking it and gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Next is Trouble Never Sleeps by Stephanie Tromley. This is the last book in the Trouble is a Friend of Mine trilogy, so I'm not really going to say much about it. I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and I will leave a link to my full review video in the description. And now we're to the first book I finished in September, which was One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is the story of what happens when 5 strangers walk into detention and only 4 walk out. And that's all I'm saying because this is a book that is better to go into not knowing too much. However, I did end up really enjoying it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next was You Bring the Distant Near by Mitali Perkins. This book is about 5 different girls over 3 different generations. I actually picked this book up because it was one of the BookNet Fest book club reads, and I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read Always Never Yours. This is a story about a girl whose relationships always start off with the perfect guy and end up with him falling in love with someone else. And while it is primarily a romance, it does also deal with some family issues, and I felt like it dealt with a lot of character growth, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And finally, the last book I finished in September was Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. I'm not sure if it's hashtag Girl Boss or just Girl Boss. This book is nonfiction, I'm assuming, and it's basically Sophia Amoruso's personal story of how she went from dumpster diving to founding one of the fastest growing retailers in the world. And because when I was reading it, it felt very much like a personal story, I feel kind of weird reading it, but I did end up giving it 4 out of 5 stars just from how much I personally enjoyed reading it, which, let's be honest, is basically how I review everything anyway. So those were the books I read in July, August, and September. You can let me know what you thought of any of these books in the comments. Also, let me know what your favorite read of September was. If you liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a like. I try to upload a new video to this channel every Tuesday and Friday, so subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. I think it was pretty good. Is that better? I don't know. This looks really weird. Why does it look so weird? I want to do little buns like this one day. I think that would be cute. I have to figure out how to do galaxy buns or space buns or whatever they're called. Like, maybe for like a sci-fi video. That would be cool. Is this clickbait because I like don't wear them in the video, but like I talk about listening to audiobooks, so why am I making so many weird noises? What's the word? Huh? Mitali? I'm gonna say middly, but it sounds wrong. Okay, this is taking too long. That's it. Bye bye.